If you look back to Lost World, we had a beautiful pteranodon design, that being at the end of the film with that kind of bluish yellow, gray, beige design. But you look past 4 years later, you have the Jurassic Park 3 pteranodons. And in Jurassic Park 3, these pteranodons, however, are not hanging out with the Stegosaurus herd and the T-Rex family. They are locked up. And I know it has a lot to do with amalgam testing that I know you have a lot of thoughts about. But it's interesting why they look so different skin-wise. Maybe the different side of Sorna could be one reason. Just thinking really hard and deep on that. And then you fast forward to 2015, and those just gorgeous Dimorphodons, and and the Pteranodons that look a bit different. They're not as big and bulky as the previous two incarnations. They're a little bit smaller. Some people say they're more scientifically accurate. That's what Horner wanted, the paleontologist on set, for people who don't know who Jack Horner is. But what's your opinion on, like, why do the skins look different from 97 to really 18?
That is like the age-old question that everybody asks. Everybody seems to have their opinion on, and so I guess this is, opinion time again. I mean, we automatically can explain JP3 because the JP3 2001 Pteranodons, because of the fact that they were part of the amalgam testing. So some people like to call them hybrids, and I think that there is merit to that name. But at the same time, either way, we know that they are a different batch. Instead of having the genetics of the 1997, what we see in the Lost World, those blue-green Pteranodons, instead we have these like very, very bulky, bigger Pteranodons with also teeth. These Pteranodons literally have teeth.
More vicious.
And also they have the vicious nature about them. So we can automatically kind of understand why they look different because of the fact that they're a part of a separate batch of testing by InGen, and not only just a separate batch, but an illegal separate batch of cloning with the amalgam testing. Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into that. That's also the reason that they're locked up. And when we see them in the movie of JP3, because they were left there in the birdcage. But then, of course, let's go back now to the Lost World, 1997. Now we see these green and blue pteranodons that are flying around at the end of the movie that are free.
That's one of my favorite top 10 shots of Jurassic Park trilogy. I love it.
Absolutely, it's majestic. But this is the first time that we see flying beasts that have been cloned in the Jurassic Park franchise. And, movie-wise, we look back at the original storyboards, the original script. They wanted to have the Pteranodon attack on the helicopters as the heroes are leaving. And that would have been really cool. And thankfully, it did kind of get incorporated into Jurassic World. They brought that idea to Jurassic World.
With Maserati.
Yeah, with Maserati's death. But going back to the Lost World, they threw it out because they wanted to have Spielberg wanted to do the San Diego T-Rex scene, which I'm fine with.
Me too.
But then we have only one shot, just providing all these questions like, wait a minute, the Pteranodons have been here the whole time? How come we haven't seen this entire time? And so like I think that really does provide the question of like, okay, so they've been out. They've been out since the fall of Jurassic Park in 1993. They've been flying around on Isla Sorna because Isla Sorna is the factory floor for all dinosaurs and all clone
87 miles away.
Exactly. So there's good reason that we don't see them in JP1 because they probably were not even transported over there yet. They're still on Isla Sorna. So, but on Isla Sorna, they were probably created, they were probably, experimented around with. And the reason we probably don't see a lot of them is because there probably wasn't very many clones of them. Now, of course, we see whole herds of pterosaurs, whole herds of gallimimus, whole herds of stegosaurs in the Lost World Jurassic Park. So, and then of course, like a whole pack of velociraptors. So we know that they have been breeding over time. When it comes to pteranodons, maybe there's just the idea that they're living in certain areas that we just did not see at all during the movies. I think it kind of funny that we didn't see them at all during the cliff scene because I don't know, often whenever they're depicted in books or media, you see that birds, even in JP3, the pteranodons like to make their nests on high cliffs. So I thought it was kind of interesting we didn't see that. But either way, they're just so much different even than from the Jurassic World pteranodons. Now here's why I get curious, so like not seeing him in the Lost World is one thing, because the movie was made and you can explain away that you just didn't see him the whole time until the very end. That's fine. But my question is, Lost World pteranodons were the original batch, the original InGen clones, the ones that Dr. Wu probably actually had his hands in. But now Dr. Wu is back with InGen under Masrani Global in order to create the new pteranodons for Jurassic World that would open in 2005. What the heck, man? Why do they look so different? Because if you look at the kind of like the evolution of the pteranodons here, the first pteranodon is skinny. The one from the Lost World, Jurassic Park, dude. Yeah. That thing is it has sticks for arms. Like the head is super elongated and sharp looking. The
skinny girl.
It's a skinny one, yeah. And then the cone on top of its head is super, super long. Then you go to JP3, those things are thick monsters. Those things are huge, well-rounded teeth and beak. But then you have Jurassic World, and it's weird because they're big in their bodies, bigger than the Lost World pteranodons, but they're not nearly as thick as the JP3 ones, because I do believe that the amalgam testing had a lot to do with like how far can we push genetics, which there's an argument that it could be made into the idea of hybridization, especially with the teeth in the beak. But
that's a good point, because I just want to say, like, during the events after Jurassic Park 3, where you see the pteranodons flying away, past the helicopters in 01, they make a nest in Canada in canon. At least it says on the website that Vic Hoskins sends a team to capture those pteranodons, those specific pteranodons. So it makes me wonder, I have a question for you too. Do you think that Dr. Wu and Hoskins, obviously they were working together, we know that in 2015. Do you think that maybe he as in Wu was testing on the pteranodons and making them slightly different for stylistic purposes, for whatever the case might be, to fit in more with the dimorphodons? That's an interesting
hard to tell. Question. Yeah. And if I had to guess, and this actually leads into the original answer that I was going to provide for the Jurassic World pteranodons looking so different from the Jurassic Park ones, I think it has a lot to do with, yes, Vic Hoskins had to go and collect those pteranodons that had gotten out on JP3 and are now nesting in Canada. And so, but it's very vague on the website about if he actually captured them or if he had to hunt them, and then bring back like, DNA samples or whatever. But
good point.
So like, I don't think that we should like nail it down, but in my opinion, I believe that the reason that the Jurassic World pteranodons look so different is like you just mentioned earlier, Jack Horner, when he was, he's a paleontologist that provides his professional leanings and everything like that on dinosaur designs for the Jurassic Park and World movies. He wanted to make more accurate pteranodon styles. So I'm sure that they wanted to create an excuse of like, or a reason for why do we have different ones that are more paleontologically accurate? Shorter crest, up on the top of the head. The beaks are like longer. And then like sharper at the end, especially compared to the JP3 ones. The JP3 pteranodons had like a rounded beak, and then all these different things. I'm pretty sure that they wanted to not start over completely, obviously, like they had the technology, but if you think about like business standpoints, there were tons and tons of copyrights and trademarks and different things about the genetics that they were using from Jurassic Park days. And they probably had a lot of different scientists, a lot of different geneticists on the team at Jurassic Park that were no longer there for Jurassic World. Now, obviously, Dr. Wu is, because he was the main brains behind all of the genetics for Jurassic Park, the original one. But moving into Jurassic World, he probably had to create a new team, bring on maybe a couple of old people, but he probably had to bring on a lot of new geneticists, and then he had to start from scratch.
Maybe cover up some secrets too, especially the Spinosaurus and stuff.
Especially
like that.
The illegal idea of the amalgam testing. So I'm pretty sure that he probably wanted to start from scratch, create new genetic types of dinosaurs. Because if you looked also at the rest of the dinosaurs, or a lot of the other dinosaurs in Jurassic World compared to the original Jurassic Park trilogy, the Triceratops has a different color scheme and also looks leaner than the big girl that we see in Jurassic Park 1, the sick Triceratops. The Stegosaurus. The stegosaurs actually have lips instead of beaks in Jurassic World compared to the Lost World, you know? Like,
I forget about that.
Yeah,
in
so
2015 we get to see the lips.
Exactly. So there's a lot of differences that we see between the genetic types of dinosaurs in Jurassic World compared to the original genetic types that they had back in Jurassic Park days. I'm pretty sure that they wanted to create new genetic material and then be able to manufacture new dinosaurs, new assets, because they wanted to, first of all, be able to claim their own copyright under Masrani Global, not having any other scientists that were related to the old Jurassic Park, the old InGen clones, trying to, you know, gain money or royalties off of the research for the new one because they wanted to create their own research types. But then also second, they wanted to try to make more accurate models. Now, of course, people have their complaints about stegosaurs and lips and all that kind of stuff. But as far as pteranodons go, they do look really good. The pteranodons look really, really good in Jurassic World. So that's my reasoning and my theory behind why the pteranodons look so much different from the Lost World Jurassic Park to Jurassic World, that they didn't just copy and paste the DNA that they had from 1993 and then, you know, just like copy and paste it for pteranodons in Jurassic World. They wanted to create a new DNA strand, a new genetic model clone in order to be able to own entirely the copyright to that asset moving into the Jurassic World and Masrani Global era. Thank you for watching today's episode of Chaos Theories. If you enjoy the show and you would like to see more from Dino Park Media, please subscribe to our channel as we are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. And also, if you want to help support the channel, you can actually buy some of our new Chaos Theory merchandise now on our store. You can go to the link in the description below and check out all of the Dino Park Media merchandise available to you. Thank you so much, and before we go, know you are loved.